Raging wildfires in the Carolinas threatening homes and forcing evacuations.
The latest on the fight to contain the flames.
Tomorrow morning will be that weather impact alert. We'll talk about those storm details coming up.
And tax season is here. The latest from state leaders and what you need to know before filing.
Covering news where you live.
Your 5 News this morning starts now.
Hey, good Monday morning. Thank you so much for waking up with us. We hope you had a great weekend. Very nice over the weekend.
Yeah, loved the sunshine. It was a little chilly out there, but not too bad. You know, after we burned those negatives a few weeks ago, I'll never complain again about the cold.
That's right. But unfortunately, we got some severe weather we're taking a look at this week, Stephen.
Yeah, that's going to come in for tomorrow. Really today, not too bad. We're starting off with some sunshine in the morning hours. By the time we get to the evening, that's when we'll see more of that cloud coverage. Really throughout the day, though, it's going to be very windy outside. We take a look at current temperatures out there right now, anywhere between those mid to upper 40s out there as you head up the door. Not too bad of a start. By the time we get to the evening, we're talking about daytime highs into those upper 50s and low 60s. Again, really the one trick for today is just going to be how windy it's going to be. That is going to boost our afternoon highs, but it's also going to build that energy ahead for tomorrow's storms. Northwest Arkansas, the rest of the day today, taking a look across the area, a few of our cameras, most everybody's seeing a lot of cloud coverage right now, but a few spots seeing some sunshine peek out. The rest of the day, more and more of that cloud coverage will filter in. Daytime highs into those low 60s across the river valley. More than likely, throughout the rest of the day today, more and more of that cloud coverage filters in. Still daytime highs mid 60s, mainly because of those strong winds that we're going to have throughout the day today. Of course, tomorrow is that weather impact alert. Important to note here, it's for the morning hours, anywhere between 6 a.m. and 11 a.m. We could have some strong to severe thunderstorms. Important to download the chances for those alerts. Have a way to get those alerts for tomorrow morning ahead of time before that severe weather arrives. The entire state of Arkansas is highlighted of at least having a chance for some strong to severe thunderstorms. We'll talk about the details coming up.
All right, thank you, Stephen. Developing overnight, an emergency landing in Waco, Texas after turbulence forced a SkyWest flight to divert from its path. Several passengers injured.
This morning, new details are coming out about what led to that unscheduled stop.
Yeah, the flight traveling from Springfield, Missouri to Houston was actually forced to land there in Waco after the turbulence. That was around 6:30 Sunday night. The plane encountered a storm near Texas, causing it to adjust altitude and speed before landing.
The flight carried 31 people, including 28 passengers. 5 passengers were taken to the hospital with injuries, including concussions. One passenger reported both pilots were also injured.
SkyWest released this statement here sharing details of what happened, saying in part that they're working to line up new transportation options for everyone who was on the flight.
Well, this morning, raging wildfires in the Carolinas are threatening homes and prompting evacuations.
So far, there are no reports of injuries, but the threat is expanding. Derek Waller has the latest.
An orange inferno threatening homes in Horry County, South Carolina Sunday.
I've never seen anything like this anywhere.
Just across the border in Polk County, North Carolina, fire officials say they've made progress on a brush fire in Tryon, with hundreds of acres already burned there. Helicopters are dropping water on the flames as fire officials warn against outdoor burning, with dry brush and gusty winds adding more fuel.
The fire, once it hits this, embers, anything, it spreads. Within a matter of minutes, our yard can be consumed in fire.
The Red Cross and other organizations are offering assistance to those forced to evacuate as neighbors hope and pray for the best.
I just want to make sure everybody's safe. I thank God if he keeps us all safe. That's the main thing for me.
Neighbors helping neighbors as the fires continue to burn. Derek Waller, CBS News.
And more fallout at the Oval Office clash between President Trump and Ukraine's president.
The blow-up left the deal to give the U.S. partial access to Ukraine's minerals unsigned. The Treasury Secretary says that it's off the table for now. Across the Atlantic in London, more than a dozen leaders from Europe and Canada met with Zelensky for an emergency summit.
Afterward, the Prime Minister of the UK said that the group is working on a Russia-Ukraine peace deal to present to President Trump. In the meantime, Starmer said that the group will bolster military aid to Ukraine and look at building a coalition of peacekeeping troops from Europe.
Europe must do the heavy lifting, but to support peace in our continent and to succeed, this effort must have strong US backing.
Well, meanwhile, multiple U.S. officials tell CBS News Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has directed U.S. Cyber Command to pause planning against Russia. The duration and the reason for the pause are unclear. Well, in other news, Israel warned of further consequences after it stopped the entry of all goods and supplies into the Gaza Strip. The move is aimed at pressuring Hamas to accept a new proposal to extend the ceasefire in Gaza. It's not clear what the immediate impact of the aid cutoff will be. Well, the Vatican says that Pope Francis is improving after another health scare over the weekend. Well, supporters gathered outside the hospital where Francis has been receiving treatment for about 3 weeks now. He experienced a respiratory crisis on Friday, requiring the supplemental oxygen through Saturday. He has been hospitalized for double pneumonia since February 14th.
And this morning, we're talking about tax season and what our Kansans need to know before filing.
From when to expect your refund to common mistakes that could cause delays. 5 News reporter Morgan Wrigley is here to break it down. Good morning, Morgan.
Good morning. Well, tax season is in full swing. Refunds are already hitting people's bank accounts. The Arkansas Department of Finance and Administration says they've processed nearly 500,000 returns so far. But before you file, there are a few things to keep in mind. Scott Hardin, spokesperson for the department, tells me the state has already issued around 240,000 refunds, with the average amount coming in at about $380. He says most Arkansans are filing online rather than by mail, which speeds up the process. If you file online, you can expect your refund in about 3 to 4 weeks. Filing by mail, add another 2 weeks to that. To avoid delays, Hardin says double-checking your return is key.
A lot of the time, it's maybe just leaving something blank. It's not going back and looking at it and ensuring that everything matches. It's maybe leaving a spot blank or forgetting to submit something that's supposed to accompany it. And that's going to slow it down. So before you actually hit submit, just go back, look at it, ensure that everything is in place.
Another thing he says to be aware of is fraud. The state has already flagged more than 10,000 fraudulent tax filings this year. To keep your information safe, he says make sure that any tax preparer you use is insured and bonded. And remember, the deadline to file or request an extension is April 15th. Morgan Wrigley, 5 News.
All right, thanks for that, Morgan. Well, a Benton County doctor facing sexual assault charges had his trial dropped last month, but the legal battle is not over. Charges were dropped in Benton County, but Adam Moss still faces multiple allegations. He's accused of sexually assaulting multiple patients with 2 more charges in Washington County. He's set for a hearing tomorrow while also facing a medical malpractice lawsuit in Benton County that's set for trial in October of this year. Well, in other news, we're learning Bryan Hyatt's counsel has requested a new trial date. The former Northwest Arkansas psychiatrist is accused of Medicaid fraud and was set to face a jury in April. Hyatt's legal team is now waiting for a judge's response after requesting the new trial date. Hyatt was arrested in 2023 and is charged with 2 counts of violating the Medicaid Fraud Act, which he pleaded not guilty.
And new this morning, a convicted killer now back in Oklahoma custody. Officials transferred George Hansen from Louisiana to Oklahoma prison. This happened over the weekend. Hansen and an accomplice kidnapped Mary Bowles from a Tulsa mall back in 1999 and then killed her. A jury sentenced Hansen to death, but he had been in federal prison in Louisiana, serving a separate life sentence for bank robbery. The Attorney General's office is expected to ask the Oklahoma Court of Criminal Appeals to schedule Hansen for execution later this year.
All right, let's get a traffic update for you this morning. Good news is, as you head out the door for your Monday morning, no accidents, no slowdowns to run into across Northwest Arkansas or in the River Valley. Here's a live look out across I-49 there in Walton Boulevard. Traffic moving just fine there. And if you're driving through Fayetteville this morning, a road closure could slow you down. A section of East Sycamore Street and North Walnut Avenue will shut down from 7 to 4. City Water and Sewer Department crews will be installing new utility services. If you're heading that way, plan for detours.
Well, family in Salem Springs is searching for answers after Travis Robertson went missing over 19 years ago. In 2006, Robertson went out with his friends to celebrate Mardi Gras in Fayetteville, and that was the last time that anyone heard from him. His sister filed a report with the Salem Springs Police Department, but because Travis went missing in Fayetteville, they transferred the case there. Fayetteville PD said that they never received it, which wasn't discovered for over 6 years. In May of last year, Travis's sisters lost their mom, who they say was the biggest advocate for bringing him home.
She never gave up, though. She never gave up hope. I mean, she was searching from day and night. You know, she wasn't going to give up.
Finding Travis was her sole purpose. Finding out what happened to him.
Well, if you know anything, you can reach out to the Silent Springs Police Department directly.